Meeting to order with a roll call.
House.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Crow. Here. Matt. Here. Berglund.
Here. Okay, at this time, we'll have the reading of the district vision and mission statement by Director Matt.
Our mission to challenge all students to achieve their full potential through engaging, responsive educational experiences that inspire, innovate, critical thinking, and collaborate. Our vision to develop learners who are competent, compassionate problem solvers. Our operating principles: information for one is information for all. No surprises. Verify facts. Think ahead. Disagree. Explain your thinking. Then commit.
Okay, at this time, we'll have the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments or additions to the agenda?
Yeah, a couple of amendments. So I have been asked to table item number 9, mid-year goal update in elementary. And also to have item number 11, communications 28E is going to table as well.
Until January 9th.
Yes.
9 and 11. We have to vote on that.
Question about number 10, Kat. That's an action item that we're supposed to vote on.
Possibly, yeah. Well, there's a recommendation there. Depends how the conversation goes.
I would want to make it a non-action item. The whole board has not met on this particular issue. All the board members have not had.
That'll be a part of the discussion when we get to that. Thanks.
We haven't been privy to the information behind these proposals, and it's not appropriate to vote if we haven't had it.
That can be made at that time, because we're not amending, discussing it. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed, say no. Motion passes. The agenda is approved 5-0. Approval of the minutes of the November 28th meeting. Were there any additions or corrections to the minute?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the November 28th meeting. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Minutes are approved 5-0. Okay, at this time we have we're welcome visitors for public comment. Is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight that has not signed up? Mayor William, do you trust me to put your name on?
I trust you.
There might have been one back here too, Pat, and I'm not sure the name, but if she calls it out, we could capture that.
Maria Ray.
Maria
Ray. Maria Ray.
And Elizabeth.
Oh, Alice is talking.
What's back there?
It's back down here. Back there, let's talk.
I got one for you over here, Pat. Josh Dean.
Where?
Josh Dean.
Are you guys all from Charles City on TV? And
Yep.
There, I can't see you, so I don't know who you are. We only have this one. That's all we have, right there.
I'd like to talk to you.
Okay, oh my gosh, get it out. Wait.
4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. So at this time, as we begin our agenda tonight, let me explain our process for public comment. On behalf of the board members, I invite any member of the audience to approach the microphone, which is up here, with any comments about items of interest or concern. Please begin by stating your name and contact information. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, so we can keep the meeting moving in a timely fashion and allow others an opportunity to speak, as well as allowing the board to complete the agenda in a timely manner. Comments from public are not limited to items or topics on tonight's agenda, but they are limited to matters within the board's authority. Please understand that we as a board cannot discuss items not already on the agenda. Iowa Sunshine Law prohibits us from having a discussion without the proper notice to all the school district community that the issue would be discussed at tonight's board meeting. Also, please remember you are making comments in a public meeting. Should you make comments that are the subject of the comments considers to be inflammatory or libelous, you as an individual may be subject to legal action brought by the subject of your comments. Thank you for your support of the Charles City School District. So the first person on the list is Scott Jensen.
Thank you. My name's Scott Jensen. Contact information 220-4026. Again, I've been in this community for 45 years. All my children have went through this school districts and music programs and all kinds of programs. But first, I wanted to just say thank you to each of you for serving on the board. I truly understand there's a lot of decisions that need to be made, and I appreciate the time and effort that you're going to put into this. On your vision, it says develop learners who are competent, compassionate problem solvers. Well, I say look around you. Those people are in this room, and they are very passionate, and they are problem solvers. I don't believe they've truly been addressed enough to get their input on the decisions that are before the board tonight. I had a poem here that the title was The Magic of Sound. The last stanza says, the earth has its music for those who will listen. Just a moment or two about listening. Sounds, the words, the meanings that all these speakers are going to say tonight, they're very passionate about what they want to say. And I want you to truly take time to hear each of those words and look at the passion that they're saying. They're going to give you their messages, their personal stories. A lot of the Rise kids have some personal stories to share, and how your decisions are impacting their very lives and the lives of the generations to come that are going through these programs. The act of listening or not will most certainly clearly communicate to our community, everybody in this room, how well each of you represent the best interests of each student in our district. Pointers on listening: need to be patient, take time to hear what they're saying, ask questions, although I know you can in this forum, but I would recommend that you table the agenda item on making the cuts tonight. I don't think you could possibly have time to hear all the possible solutions that these students and community members can come up with on such short notice. I also just want to touch base as a juvenile court officer. I've done this work with at-risk youth in this community for 25 years. And Charles City was one of the first school districts in the state of Iowa to get a school liaison position. And that was 27 years ago. And to have Mr. Caffrey as one of the cuts, possible cuts on this is just, it just doesn't make sense. Same with Ms. Sigmund. You can't measure love. That's some data you're not going to get when you're doing all of this. They put their hearts and souls into everything they do each day, and they make a difference in these kids' lives. You're not going to find that when you're looking at other cuts that we could be making. The personnel with at-risk teachers and our music staff, they're the ones that make a difference to our community. Is that my time? Thank you.
If we could maybe do this for just a little bit, when people get done talking, we need to move this along for all of our sakes, okay?
Before I start, I would just like to say good evening to you all, and I want to thank you for your time here. And I know you make lots of hard decisions, and I just want to thank you for the time and effort you put into this. My name is Blake Cave, and I'm a sophomore here at Charles City High School. I'm involved in band, choir, drama, speech, the jazz band, and Rhymes with Orange, the top vocal jazz group. I'm very involved in the fine arts program at this school. It has impacted me as a person far beyond what I could put into words. I care about this program more than anyone will ever know. And it is because I care for this program so much that I'm speaking here tonight. I'm sure all of you are already aware that almost every person, all of these people here tonight, have heard about the cuts to both the music program and other programs and teachers in our district. If any of these cuts being voted on today move forward, the workload of our music teachers will go up drastically, and they will have to spread themselves and their time thinner than they already have to currently. Any student or parent who has had any involvement in the music program can tell you how much work and dedication our music teachers put into all the lessons, rehearsals, concerts, and many other events that the music program is a part of every single year. If these responsibilities increase any further, there is no doubt in my mind that our music program's quality will decrease solely because there just isn't enough time to devote to everything that they will have to do. All of these programs, both curricular and extracurricular, bring the people in this community together and moves their hearts and souls. I have heard about so many people who have been touched by the music we perform in both choir and band. If that goes away, then this community, I can guarantee you, will always feel like it has something missing. Ultimately, all we can really do is plead with you. People can sit here giving speeches all night, but we don't have a say in the final decision. It's up to you, the school board, to make the right decisions to keep our schools and community alive. This decision has been made too hastily, and we as a community need more time to collect our thoughts on it. The only thing I ask of you tonight is to vote against all of these options. We need more time to reconsider all of them. All of these people need time to reconsider them. Do the right thing, please. This is not the time to be making hasty decisions. The fate of our school and our community depends on it.
Okay, she did up.
All right, I would also like to start by thanking you all for your time and listening ears to everyone here. My name is Sophia Jensen and I am a senior here. I'm involved in choir, band, drama, speech, Project Rise, tennis, and other activities. I want to share some experiences that I have had, all due to the amazing instructors and leaders who got me there. I've known Mr. Gassman since my sister was in band since 2013. He has made an incredible impact on me and my family's life. He is one of the most influential people in my life. I was accepted into Iowa All-State Band 2 years and received first chair this past year. I am 100% confident that I would not have gotten there without Mr. Gassman's guidance. Mrs. Voss convinced me to play flute in 5th grade after I strongly considered choosing French horn. I am very thankful for her and the building block that she has given me to become the flutist I am today. Mr. Sturdivant is an amazing role model to me and many of my peers. It is clear how much he cares for his students and his class. Last June, Mr. Sturdivant nominated me and 3 of my peers to participate in the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards in Des Moines. We were able to work with professional Broadway music instructors and choreographers for multiple days and put on a performance that was streamed on PBS. This is easily one of my most memorable experiences throughout high school, and it would not have been possible without Mr. Sturdivant. Please note that this event was during the summer, which goes to show how much Mr. Sturdivant cares for us and wants to give us opportunities. He is an incredible teacher. This has given me my dream of performing all my life, and I have found my passion to act and sing because of Mr. Sturdivant's impact. It is not the existence of a class, it is the teacher that makes it worthwhile. The school board members were voted in by this community, and this community has clearly shown up tonight to say that we do not agree with this agenda. I am part of our varsity jazz choir, Rhymes with Orange, one of 3 jazz choirs that Mr. Sturdivant put together during his time in Charles City. Jazz choir brings me happiness and has helped me realize my love for making music. We are the only 3A school in the state with 3 jazz choirs. We also have 3 jazz bands this year. These extra activities would not be possible to continue if our teachers took on 7th through 12th grades. If they were to be continued, they would fail through neglect. The same goes for our annual fall musical, which I will add is also put on by Mr. S. I am a senior this year, and these future changes would not have nothing to do with me. But I know how much I've been positively impacted by these teachers, and I couldn't imagine younger grades and future comets not having the same experience. Again, it is not the existence of a class, it is the teacher. Thank you.
Griffin, sorry. Thanks for correcting.
It's all right. All right. So before I begin, I'd like to thank the board for their time, just like many of them have already said. And I will attempt to keep this very brief. Hello, my name is Deshaun Griffin. I participate in many fine arts activities through the high school and the community, drama, speech, large and individual. I sing in the choir and I sing in Rhymes with Orange, along with many of my fellow speakers. Now, as you know, the options laid before you have become a source of fierce debate amongst the community. The faculty and the students, many of these cuts aren't fair and shouldn't happen, but just for a moment, let's step away from that. Let's look at the big picture. The school is in debt. I've heard 768,000 or so. This is not the fault of the board, but from the mistakes made from those no longer in our district. Let's say any of these options go through and our school is brought from our financial troubles. What then? What will we do? Well, a good start in moving past this hardship is to prevent the board from having to do this again, to prevent the loss of valuable programs and teachers in the future. So as you deliberate, as you decide upon your choices and make plans to cast your vote, please think about the future. Think of how this choice will affect our brothers, our sisters, sons, daughters, and I trust you will do this, that you will take as long as needed to decide on the best option with the greatest of care. Thank you.
Yes.
On the side.
Oh, it's not this?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. S. See? So good. Oh, wait, I messed it up.
Good enough? Don't touch it.
Apologize.
Don't touch it.
My goodness, she Lucy. Yes.
Hello, my name is Katie Heckers and I'm a sophomore here at Charles City High School. I'm involved in the comic choir, the concert choir, the 2 Jazz Up jazz choir, and I have also auditioned for All-State Choir twice. I'm involved in concert band, marching band, jazz band, and pep band. I participate in individual and large group speech, and I participate in the fall musicals and the spring plays. I want to talk to you about 2 things regarding the staff reduction proposals. Number 1, the opportunities that will be lost when positions are cut. Number 2, the strong impact that music directors have had on my life. Now, I'm guessing that over the last few days, you've had many people voice their opinions about the proposals. I'm also guessing you've seen a wide range of emotions from these people: anger, concern, frustration. I've been feeling all of those, but I need to share with you another emotion. I'm scared. I'm scared of the opportunities potentially being lost. If you reduce the music staff, the opportunities that I've had the privilege to be a part of would likely not be available to students in the future. It takes an extensive amount of dedication, time, and effort from our music staff to provide us with these opportunities. With the changes that have been proposed, staff will be stretched too thin and opportunities will be lost. The second point I'd like to make is how the current music programs teachers have impacted my life. Mr. Sturdivant and Mr. Gassman have been the most impactful people in my high school career. During my very first month of high school, Mr. Sturdivant strongly encouraged me to audition for the All-State Choir. Through the intensive audition process, he helped me develop my confidence and opened my eyes to how much I love singing and choir. He is the reason I made All-State Choir this year. He helped me realize my potential as a singer. Mr. Gassman put a saxophone in my hands for the very first time last year and opened my eyes to a world of jazz. He never settles for me to be anything less than what I'm capable of. Without him, I wouldn't have found my love for jazz or the crazy world of music theory. Because of him, I found my career path. Fine arts has quite literally become my home. The teachers and the kids involved are my family. If you take away these teachers, if you take away these opportunities, you're hurting the people in our family. Do you see how many people are in this room? Do you understand how many people your decision is affecting? I am terrified for the future of our program. I'm absolutely terrified. I stand here tonight asking you not to accept any of the current proposals. Please do not take away any of our family members.
Jacob Hughes.
Jacob, when you got that, pull it up again.
Coming down.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to thank you for your time first. I know these are very busy times and thank you for giving me this chance. I am Jacob Deers. I am a junior at Charles City High School. I participate in drama, speech, jazz choir, and choir. Those are the main things that I participate in, and those things take up much of my time and are my favorite things that I have to do during the day. I believe I represent my friends, family, and fellow students that the swift push for decision in this very touchy subject to cut any of our teachers is not in our best interest. I believe we need to postpone or not go for any of these decisions tonight. I have participated in the school's music department for 7 years. For the time that I was in middle school band, I made friends and I learned dedication. 6 years ago, I joined the middle school choir, which I have always enjoyed and has impacted me greatly. 5 years ago, when I was in 7th grade, Mr. Sturdivant pushed me to try harder in the middle school boys choir because he saw something in me. He also urged me to try All-State and join the high school jazz groups when I was in 8th grade. Although I didn't participate in these activities, or I didn't have confidence in myself, I was a quieter kid until I got into high school. And I also participate in the drama, like I said, which initially I thought wasn't for me. My parents really wanted me to do it. And I finally went, you know what, I'll do it. I joined the drama camp over last year's summer break, 1 week before school started. And I made a lot of friends there, and I realized that it would be a very good program for me, and it really impacted me a lot. I made a lot of connections through these activities that made me express who I am really today. Without these teachers, our out-of-school programs like the drama camp would not exist. The drama camp, like I said, is what introduced me to drama and made me join. Without activities like this, we wouldn't have so much young talent introduced into our community, making us who we are. Like I said, all three current options will be damaging to our performing arts department. And they would hinder future student opportunities that could result in the end of many of our jazz programs due to the overworking of the remaining staff next year. The performing arts department has been and will continue to be an outlet for many people who have had harder home lives or can't find any way to express themselves and their feelings. It has been without therapy, it has been a very open thing. You can be who you are in these groups. And if they are removed, if our teachers are removed, we will not have time, we won't have teachers to support us and show us who we really are. Please help us with this. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tegan Priggy. I'm a senior here at Charles City High School. I've been involved in choir for 8 years, jazz choir for 4, and I've also been involved in drama and speech and other extracurriculars for the years. I think we have rushed this decision. I feel there would be more benefits with taking time to fully explore our options, pushing this decision back a week. Look at all the positions that we have and see what's benefiting the school, the students, and what is not. And I have a few questions for you guys to think about. How will this affect the overall programming? Not with just music, but everywhere. What are going to be the major changes within classes? What if you make the decision and class enrollment is low, but the following semester or year, the class sizes become big again? What is going to be your solution? Enrollment is down for the whole district, but the high school has seen an increase in enrollment. The proposed cuts to the teaching positions will put strain on the teachers with them taking over middle school as well. How is it going to affect the music program? What have we done? How is it going to affect the time students get with their teachers and important connections between students and teachers? How are the position adjustments in the music department going to be executed? Can other music teachers decide and take others' positions? For example, Mrs. Boss, a band teacher, taking Mrs. Dean, a choir teacher's position? Please take your time and think about this. We depend on you. Please listen to us.
Felt out. Yeah. Hello, my name is Anders Hagland and I'm a senior at Charles City High School. I joined choir a semester late in 5th grade. A year later, I participated in my first honor choir. In 8th grade, I started taking voice lessons and I won my first voice competition. I joined Rhymes with Orange my freshman year and I started taking piano lessons my sophomore year. I made All-State. I competed in Nats and qualified for the national competition. I made All-State again. I started competing in piano, a secondary instrument. I placed 3rd in North America for voice. I made All-State for a 3rd year. This would not be true without our current music department. Elementary music was the catalyst for me joining band in 5th grade. Miss Boss's middle school band taught me how to read music. Mr. Gassman invited me to play jazz piano in 7th grade, and without that, I would not know the instrument. Keep in mind, Mr. Gassman is also still having rehearsal today after this meeting, despite all the stress. Mrs. Dean pushed me to join choir 8 years ago, and Mr. Sturdivant pushed me to pursue music, and in doing so taught me humility and hard work. Without every department and teacher I mentioned, I would not be successful. So it was a great shock to me when I heard that the department, which I and many other students consider a home, was being threatened and attacked. I want to know, what has the music department done to receive these budget cuts? Mr. Sturdivant is a second father to me. Many others agree. Many say the same about Gassman. Many say the same about Nauman. Yet you continue to cut. And in doing so hurt not only the students, but a community that feels indebted to our department. This is my 8th year of music. I have seen the effects of our music on a community. I have seen people cry. I have seen music bring back painful yet nostalgic memories. A few years ago, a gentleman came up to me after a performance.
He said that was the first time I cried for my brother since he passed. I understand that if not the music department, then another position must vanish. Yet it seems counterintuitive to cut the department which is currently thriving. I pray you understand the position you're in and the disappointment that we have. Thank you.
Can you, I am not good at using a mic. Is this good? What? Switch on.
I don't know where.
Is that, okay, that's better. Hello, everybody. My name is Missy Freund. I'm a parent, community member, and a former school board member. I could spend 3 minutes telling you how much these teachers have, and this music department have impacted my family, but chances are you already know that, or I wouldn't be standing here to speak with you today. So I'm going to discuss some facts and another option that I think needs to be considered. Fact, our district position this school year officially titled Director of Academic Services, or known to most of us as Curriculum Director. The salary for this new position is $100,000. Fact, our new superintendent has a salary of $170,000. That is roughly $20,000 more than our previous superintendent. Fact, cutting our high school assistant principal is a savings of almost $119,000. So why do I bring up these numbers? There is another option to explore that keeps teachers in our classrooms. If we cut the Director of Academic Services, a position that our district clearly can't afford to add yet, cut our high school assistant principal, and if our superintendent agrees to a voluntary pay cut for 1 year, that equals a total savings of around $240,000. That is enough money to save both of our music positions, the English teacher position, and the at-risk coordinator. We're shy of around $5,000, give or take. That option keeps our teachers in classrooms. Our main goal here should be to minimize the direct impact to our students in the classrooms. This option accomplishes that. We know that we are facing budget cuts. We understand that these are not easy decisions to make, but I would urge you to consider an option that minimizes our senior leadership, currently sitting at 12 people for this district, and keeps teachers where they need to be. I know what it's like to sit on that side of the table. Yes, I never had to vote on budget cuts, but we had to make some very difficult and controversial decisions during COVID. Special meetings were held, facts were gathered, and lots of discussion was had at that board table before those decisions were made. We were all about transparency. Many times the recommendations brought to us were tweaked or changed because we, the board, asked questions first. You are the only people currently that have the power to demand more information before making your final decisions, and I urge you all to exercise that power. Those in attendance tonight, if the option that I talked about makes any sense to you, please raise your hand. I think the audience has spoken. And please remember, these are the people that you represent, and these are also the people that you need to get out to vote if you want to pass a bond referendum. Thank you.
My name is Kay Winkleman, and I have a daughter who is in 8th grade. Until she hit her middle school years, vocal music was her love. However, things have changed and progressed, and she is no longer happy with her 8th grade vocal instructor. Recently, Mr. Sturdivant took time out of his day to have a one-on-one with Jada. She has a completely renewed interest in what is to come as she enters high school. Like Jada, there are many students who don't like organized sports. So when they find their passion, it's imperative to allow it to grow. Take the Project Rise as an example. Students saw that this become confident in their abilities to get it going. And now here it is, a necessary and exciting addition to the high school. There are hundreds of students who have flourished throughout the high school years. Let me end with a portion written by Sonny Deesberg, graduate of the Charles City School System. I read it with his permission. It wasn't our music programs. I was an obsessed music kid on the outside of our excellent programs, going through some very real life events. And playing music really helped me get through that. You know who helped me during the most of that time? Music teachers. I would skip out on lunch and go play on the piano in the music room when the room was empty, or store my guitar in the room during the day because they allowed me to. They encouraged my development, even though I wasn't involved in their programs. The music department staff is half of the reason I made it through high school. To my friends back home, please attend the school board meeting and help protect the leaders who play such a large part in student development and even their mental health. Please, board members, please sharpen your pencils. There is a better way. Thank you.
You need to read out who's next before.
Okay, Nancy Simon's next, after Jen.
Oh, that way they know. No. On that.
On deck, you're on deck.
On deck. We're gonna move.
Good evening. My name is Jen Hape, and I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the proposed cuts that you'll be presented with tonight, specifically the music teachers. You are faced with some difficult decisions, and I hope that you are listening to those that are here tonight. I have 2 students enrolled in this district. Cameron is an 8th grader, and you heard from Blake earlier, who is a 10th grader. I can truthfully say the reason that we are still enrolled in this district is because of our outstanding performing arts program. A little over a year ago, we had open enrollment papers signed and ready to go to another district. And the only reason we did not go is because that other district could not offer what Charles City could do in regards to the performing arts. My children combined are involved in the following: orchestra, band, jazz band, choir, vocal jazz, drama, and speech. Derek, Grace, Jake, Kara, Renee. Did I say Sam? I want to say thank you for teaching these children music and changing their lives through music. The instructors that work specifically with my children are here early in the morning rehearsing. They are here late at night rehearsing. They are here in the summer giving music lessons. I sat in this room 2 weeks ago and I listened to 4 of you vote yes, that we need to move forward with building an auditorium for these talented students so they would have a proper space to prepare and perform for this community. Now tonight you're going to be presented with 3 options to cut 1 or 2 of our music instructors. The proposal is to cut these very instructors who are going to prepare and teach these students to perform on that brand new stage that you voted for. Please ask yourself, how can you vote yes 2 weeks ago for a facility to perform on and then vote yes tonight to cut any of these instructors that work so hard to bring that stage to life. I ask you to vote no to any of these options and request new options be brought forth. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Nancy Syverson. I taught in New Hampton for 40 years. Then I came here. I was a substitute teacher in this building for 8 years, and I have been in practically every in the school. So I know what great teachers we have here. I know what great projects that we have. I've been coming to school board meetings. I've seen many boards in action for pretty much 50 years, and we have had to cut staff before, and we don't do it quickly. It doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. And right now, I'm very sad to say, I've been watching this board for 2 years online. I have a lack of trust right now for this school board. They are exclusionary. You are elected to represent all of the people of this district. I still don't know, and I have asked who was on the committee that worked on the plans for the improvement of this building and why these people were chosen. I have no idea who was on it. You never seem to want to discuss things in public. You seem to want to just vote on things just like that. If you come to a board meeting, you won't allow anyone to ask any questions. We used to be able to do this if it was on the agenda. You say you cannot respond to anything I say. I say, even if it's on the agenda. I deeply care about the level of education in this district. I support equal opportunities for all of our students. And the main reason I'm here is to ask why the decision was made to make such huge cuts in one department, the music program. This is the most inclusive program that you have in your curriculum. With everybody's welcome in those music rooms. They spend hours down in there in their free time. And it's got one of the highest levels of participation that we have in this school. So be prepared to dig in and do the work that it takes to make this happen. I've seen other school boards. They meet sometimes every single week when they are working on reduction of staff and so forth. And I do want to thank all of the students and the teachers and the parents for being here. This is awesome.
We're all gonna step up at the same time and speak individually. So I am Jamie Tuttle. I am wanting to say thank you for all of you board members for coming, but I also want to thank you for the whole community that showed up for not only our music department tonight, but also the Project Rise program. I just want to throw out on the table for you guys that you are not cutting one, but both of our leadership people who are our advisors. With Sickman being cut, Carlene's closet would not have been a thing if she would have not been here. And with Caffrey's pay being cut, he will not be able to feed his family and support them as he does now. There are a lot of other choices that we have, and I believe we should delay the vote as far as possible.
Hi, I'm Mallory Kabrick. I'm a junior at the high school right now. I've been involved in Project Rise since around my 7th, 8th grade year. I'm not going to go into statistics. I'm not going to try and get super emotional on you guys, and it was a very serious event. But I am going to expand on what at-risk really does mean, because we were here just 2 weeks ago. We told you guys all about us, but we listed all the statistics, and I don't think you guys do realize what at-risk coordinator means. Because if you look at all these kids up here, you're not going to realize any idea of what any of us have gone through. So I'm a child of suicide, and I am a child of a parent that had cancer. And if you think about it, I don't look like, do I look like I lost a parent? I feel I put myself together pretty well. But a lot of these girls down here have gone through so much. And if you think about it, Carlene and Dan are the whole reason that we're still in this high school all together. I care deeply about the music program, but I care very much more deeply about the Project Rise leadership team and what they do for this school. At-risk coordinator doesn't mean that they take care of all the kids that, they get kicked out of class and they throw attitude at their teachers. It's the kids that have gone through trauma. There's an ACEs test and every single person on our leadership team has taken it. And, a 5 is bad, an 8 is worse, and 10 is the highest score you can get. And none of us place below an 8 on that. And an ACEs test is to show the neglect, the trauma, and the pain that you've gone through throughout your childhood. And so if you think about it, how many of us have gone through that? And how many of us have been saved by Dan and Carlene? They are our home, they are our family. So if you think about it, cutting them would be very hard on everybody in this room that's wearing lime green right now. So I do ask you please to at least try to delay your vote or think a little deeper on how Dan and Carlene really do affect this school.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Kirby. I am a sophomore at the Charles City High School. It is my understanding that you wish to cut the pay of Dan Caffrey and remove Carlene Sickman altogether, both of which advised the program Project Rise, which you should recall because our group presented to you a few weeks ago. Project Rise is a dual impact program that saved my life and many others. According to the ACEs test, which Mallory had just talked about, I am a level 9 at-risk student, which is out of 10. This inhibits my ability to properly learn and cope. Most students within the program score just as high, if not higher. Joining this team has taught me many things about my mental journey and maximizes my success. Mrs. Sickman and Mr. Caffrey's tough love and guidance has shaped me into the person that I am today, which is a much stronger, confident, and reliable version. The program has shown to provide much more than the pantry that we have in Charles City with its food output poundage. It has increased attendance in students. It has decreased behaviors with our mentoring and tutoring group, which has grown to over 80 participating students in the Charles City High School and middle school. As a reminder, both Carlene and Dan do this voluntarily and have put in countless out of school hours in this program without extra pay. I understand that Caffrey is not going to be removed as Mrs. Sickman is, but paying him less is not supportive to his family's needs. And without our advisors, the program will not continue. Although I do not know the whole process behind this decision, I am requesting that you look over the history of our group and the statistical significance. Contact myself or any other member of the Project Rise leadership team in order to find out these numbers if you aren't already aware. I hope that you can put forward the lives of the kids in need and help our program stay alive. Nobody can do it like Caffrey and nobody can do it like Sickman.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie and I'm a junior. I'm not only here to speak on behalf of Project Rise, but Mr. Caffrey and Mrs. Sickman as well. First off, I'd like to start by asking what your future plans are for Project Rise. Seeing as you're planning on removing Mrs. Sickman and cutting the pay of Mr. Caffrey from our program, what happens next? I can see what you all might say, that there are other people that could be potential advisors for Project Rise, but I have to say that you would be wrong if you were thinking that. I can speak for myself and many other people when I say that Mr. Caffrey and Mrs. Sickman had to work to earn the trust of so many students within the walls of these schools. And without them, it wouldn't be the same. If you ask me, it feels like you're taking away the heart of our program, the very roots that created this program into what it is today. I feel it's important to note that both of the current advisors for our program are facing a hard time right now, as well as many other people who we all stand here in support of. Carlene Sickman and Dan Caffrey have not only poured their heart and soul into the program, but into so many of the students who attend Charles City schools. Not only have they been in the school district for years, but they've helped a tremendous amount of people. By that, I mean they noticed a need with students in many different ways and took action to find a solution for that. That was not something they had to do as part of their jobs, but they chose to go that extra mile for students. Without Mrs. Sickman and Mr. Caffrey, not only without them, kids' problems at home with food and clothes would have gone unnoticed. I've talked to many people that are in the high school right now and people that have previously attended the high school that will admit that they don't know if they would have made it through high school if it weren't for Mrs. Caffrey and Mrs. Sickman. How many students would have been overlooked? How many students wouldn't have been given a chance to be a leader? So many teachers, staff, faculty, and even administration preach to high school students that they need to be leaders. But I'm sure you've all heard actions speak louder than words, and Mr. Caffrey and Mrs. Sickman have helped students after school become a leader through this program. Hearing someone say that this situation is very hard on them because they view the Project Rise team as if we were their own kids hurts my heart to hear it on these terms. If we don't come together in hard times like this, what does that leave for our community, our schools, our students? So that's what we're all here doing tonight, supporting. So I'll leave you with a quick story. As many of you know, I'm adopted, and because of the things I went through in my past, I had very bad trust issues with everyone, but especially men. Mr. Caffrey was one of the 3 men who took time out of his day to tell me good morning, to ask me about my weekend, to tell me I dropped my smile when I was feeling down, and to tell me he was proud. Little do Mr. Caffrey and Mrs. Hickman know that each one of us kids on the Project Rise leadership team views them as our school parents, and it would kill something inside of us to lose them. So I'm asking you to take time before making such a big decision that will impact so many lives. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natalie King. I'm a sophomore. I know some of this might be a little bit repetitive, but I think it's important for you to hear regardless. So as you know, Project Rise is a successful student-led mentoring and tutoring program that has a food pantry and clothing closet, along with a washer and dryer, freezer, and hygiene products. We started in 2014 as just a mentoring and tutoring program between high school and middle school students. There's a huge dual impact on both the mentors and mentees, as we've seen attendance rates increase and behaviors decrease, both in and out of school. As connections were made, we realized there's a huge need for basic necessities in our community and our students. In just a year, we went through almost 6,000 pounds of food. Numerous coaches have come to Carling's Closet to get sports equipment so that a student can be able to participate, and the special education teachers often come down to use our washer and dryer and get clean clothes and hygiene products. We've given kids beds to sleep on and have worked to support our community through various acts of community service. We even supply both of our school nurses with food, snacks, and water. This program is vital for kids at our school. However, without our advisors, Mr. Caffrey and Mrs. Sickman, our program will likely have to shut down. This is not something we can take lightly. Our program changes lives. It has changed mine and so many others in miraculous ways. We have put years of work into our program, and it has led students to become independent, hardworking leaders who have made strong connections with their school and their community, along with guiding surrounding communities to help support their own schools and students. We have students and families who rely on our program to get by. We want every student here to have the chance to be the best version of themselves, and without support systems and resources, this chance to be successful is eliminated. I would also like to point out that Project Rise recently attended a school board meeting to tell you all about our program, our stats, and why we are important. We want you to know that a decision like this has some serious consequences and will affect more people than you may realize. Just through mentoring and tutoring, there's a direct impact on 180 students. Project Rise as a whole meets the vital social, economic, and emotional needs of this community. Take a moment to think about the resources that will be taken away. We have poured our hearts and souls into this program and devoted ourselves to our community. As students who see the needs of those around us, we are urging you to take another look at this. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Banks, and I want you guys to look at the vision statement again. It says to develop learners who are compassionate, and problem solvers. None of us would be here today unless we were not compassionate about what is happening. We are also problem solvers. It all started from Caden, who saw it and saw a problem in our community of middle schoolers needing someone to talk to, which is how the mentoring started, and it grew from there. You want us to be problem solvers. We became problem solvers, and now you want to take it away from us. What does that say about our vision statement? Our operating principles also says, information for one is information for all. No surprises, verity, facts, thinking ahead, disagree, explain your thinking, and then commit. I don't think you guys have enough time in 3 minutes to really think what all of us are thinking and what our thoughts are on it. I think that you, the school board, should take your time to go into each classroom and see what is actually happening without anybody else. Because there's no better way to see what these teachers are doing, including unless you are seeing it for yourself. You can go off what other people say, but what is in your heart that you really want for our school? Because you're not showing.
Hello, I'm Madison Tapping. I'm a 2021 alumni from Charles City High School. I'm not just going to talk about Project Rise. The music department had a big impact on me.
even the English teachers that are planning on being cut have had a big impact on me. So, try not to get emotional. You heard a little bit what Mallory said. A lot of these kids come from very hard backgrounds and they were all brought together to become a family. It all started with Caden when he saw vision and look at how much it's grown into. I came from a very damaged home. The cabinet has actually helped me personally. There was times where I wouldn't eat for weeks on end to be able to feed my little sister. I apologize. There was times. There were times where I would bring home food to feed my sister because she wouldn't have food to eat. And also that test that everybody was talking about, I rated a 9 as well. But this program is so much bigger than what you guys think. It has impacted, I can guarantee everybody in this room. If it's a snack coming home from a game, a sporting event, from kids getting food for a Thanksgiving, Christmas meal. My dad has personally donated hogs. Ever since I was a junior, I believe, he's donated a hog to give meat to kids that couldn't be fed. And you're probably wondering, how does this affect her? She's not in high school anymore. But like I said, it's so much bigger. I probably keep in contact with over half of these kids. Caffrey, I talk to him at least once a week about how things are going. Sickman, every time I see her, her face lights up and she gives me the biggest hug and things are going with the Project Rise program. It's so much bigger. I know a lot of alumni that would love to be here today to talk in front of you guys about how much of an impact that this has made on them. It's to the point where I'll be walking through town and someone will be like, weren't you in that Project Rise program? That's how big of an impact this program has. And you can say, well, maybe you guys aren't cutting the program, but Caffrey and Sickman, Mr. Dean, I know he's not in jeopardy yet and with any of this, but he's not in jeopardy as much with any of this, but they're a team. They've been a team from the start of this. You cut 2 members out, what is left? They are the program. Without them, there will be no program. It might still run on, but there will be no program. Now I'll go to music. I was in choir from 5th grade all the way to my senior year of high school. I still remember the day Mrs. Dean came up to me and told me that you need to join choir. I think you'll love it. And from that moment on, I fell in love with music. I was a pretty shy singer. I only did big groups. I wouldn't do solos. And that's where Mr. Sturdivant comes along. He's like, try it. And I competed in my first solo and ensemble and I got a Division II for my first time ever singing by myself. So if you guys don't know, that's really good. That's pretty good. But yeah, and then I'm running out of time, but Blick, she's also someone who had a huge impact on me. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have went on to cheer at Upper Iowa College. She was the one who pushed me every day. She's like, you can do it. If you guys don't know, I was in a really bad car accident, big runner, and then I turned to cheer, and Blick pushed me every day to be the best I could be, and I ended up cheering at Upper Iowa. So I hope you guys rethink your options. Thank you.
And Stacy Olson's on deck.
Christine Law Cleveland. This is not where I like to be. I am not nearly as eloquent as these kids. I don't. Okay. I've been told by multiple people that I need to speak because I have a unique perspective on the Charles City Music Department. I'm not a student anymore, like she said. So why does it matter to me? I went through the Charles City Music Department. I started playing for my first choir when I was in fourth grade, maybe fifth grade. Janice, I learned so much from Janice playing for her over the years. There have been some amazing. I can't look at anybody, okay. There have been some incredible music department, and department projects like Rise. Music doesn't just teach music, it's a family, like I understand their family too. And music isn't just to get a grade. It's not, and like what they do, it's not for them to get a grade, it's for what they learn. And what we learn and what I learned that I've carried my entire life. It's not just for a class. It's not to pass, it's not to get into college really, although I could spout off statistics about linguistics and math and reading and all things that participation in the arts help develop. But in the end, that's not what it is. It teaches, it's something that you carry with you. You learn teamwork, you learn to work hard, you learn to work with people that you might not get along with sometimes. Sometimes the pianists are terrible. But these kids, I have never been more proud. I never worked with kids for 40 since I was a kid. And I will always be proud to be part of the Charles City School System. And what's happening right now it breaks my heart. Because people are looking at me saying, what is happening there? And you can't make a decision this big. You can't cut programs like these. These teachers, these instructors are more than just teachers. I have learned so much from these people sitting here. And someone sitting on the floor and sitting up there. I mean, you can. There's just more to it than finance. You have to look at the big picture and you have to look at the kids and you can look at graduates and alumni. My inbox, my email was just exploding with stories of people saying, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have graduated. If it wasn't, countless kids. I can name kids that I sat with. I have 30 seconds. Kids that I sat with that wouldn't have been in school. They probably wouldn't be alive. They wouldn't have graduated high school because they wouldn't be alive. Because these programs give them a place. They give them a home. They give them a place where they're safe. It gives them a place where they belong if they don't fit in anywhere else. And that's coming from a kid who didn't fit in anywhere else either. And I didn't leave. They couldn't get rid of me. So thank you for your time.
Nathan Schultzer and Dell.
This thing is not very loud. Hopefully everybody can hear me when I talk to this. I'm Stacy Olson. And thank you, Denise and Pat, for responding to my email when I sent it to the board. So, I came, I think a month or so ago and talked about how the new facilities for the music department was needed. And you're moving forward. It's going to be on the ballot, hopefully. So I don't have to tell you, you've heard a lot of people talk about how important the music department is, how important it is to me and my family. But it sounds like people want to know reasons why. And that's how my email started to you. And I don't expect you to respond, but people want to know why. Mr. S called me and he's like, hey, did you hear what happened today? And I'm like, no, you were doing runouts for the choir. Did Beth get in trouble? What did she do? He said, no, they're cutting two music people. And I'm like, why? Why the music department? What have you explored? In my email to you, I said, be creative. There's ways to cut money besides cutting positions. I work for the state of Iowa, and the state is always less money. They're always looking for money. And we've probably taken some money from people in this room. But we've had to go through furlough days. So be creative. Why is it high school people? Why can't it be? It sounds like it's a district issue, not a teacher issue. So look at your professional development days. Maybe they take that day off without pay. Maybe they take 3 of them. We've had 8 in a year. And they spread them out. Everybody survived it. And the state made up money. It didn't cost people positions. They kept their jobs and we got through it. So be creative. And people want to know why. Why did you pick the music department? Why did you pick a high school English teacher? Project Rise. Why did you pick those things? And why? And talk about the student count. People want to know about the student count. What was it this year? What was it the years before? Are we making up? What's the truth? People want to know, and you people were voted into your positions. We deserve to know why why you picked the people that you did. Huh?
We didn't pick.
But you should have known.
Well,
that.
it's gonna, I mean, you know who goes with those positions. So just reasons why. I mean, people just want to know reasons, that's all. I mean, I feel like I have 30 seconds left to explain how important it is. You have a whole school district. It's a district issue, not a high school issue. Thank you.
You're on deck.
As Larry Wolf would say, twice a year, right here. All right, so obviously I'm shocked that this board is considering this agenda with haste when obviously the community doesn't agree with it and they didn't know about it until Friday. Doesn't make sense. Please don't put up a front that you're a strong advocate. When you're discrediting the music staff, Project Rise, specifically the music organization, 49% of students, 7th through 12th grade are involved with it. I went on your website today, pretty little thing. Common pride is integrity, resilience, and responsibility. And I challenge you all to actually fulfill that commitment if you want your students to actually fulfill that. I could go on about Derek, Jake, and Renee but you've heard a lot about them. I want to mention Grace. Her and I had the opportunity to sing in choir last year. She has the motivation, the energy to lead the elementary school students. And I've heard this directly from parents and grandparents since I work at 11th Street, Chautauqua, and I oftentimes hear from that. Most of you should know, or at least some of you all should know, how important these teachers are to the students. They often will skip over coming to guidance counselors to talk to them. I would know. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer, who found out first? Derek, Jake, Renee. Who came and talked to me? Those 3. When my mom had passed away, where was I 4 days later? I was at the choir concert. Same thing with my dad. I was at jazz choir morning after his diagnosis. One note I had for you, I'd like you to reread the Our Operating Principles on the first page and ask yourself if you've done just that. Warburg has offered me a lot of opportunities. In May, I'll be touring in Europe for a month. But those opportunities don't come because I showed up to Warburg saying, hey, I want to do this. It happens with the grassroots efforts here in the high school, in the middle school, and the elementary schools. I mean, if you choose to cut these positions, are you going to just a little press release? Or are you going to go actually talk to these students and tell them like, hey, by the way, these teachers, these individuals that have a direct effect on your life, and they're just not that important. I always find myself, unfortunately, in the minority group of students talking about their time in Charles City. I loved it. I appreciated the opportunities I had, the music programs, and the support I received during obvious loss in my time in high school. I talk confidently about seeing myself coming back to Charles City, raising a family here, and having my kids go through the system. But having this information come out on a Thursday and you want to vote on a Monday, those are just things that don't add up and make any sense. Lastly, I want to give props to Missy on her proposed. Lastly, please do not cut any of these valuable positions, both music and Project Rise advisors. Try to make the effort to do something and don't go along passing something with less than a week of the public knowing. Thank you all. Good luck.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Johannimeier, and I'm a resident of Charles City, and I am a veteran music teacher of 33 years. I am presenting a letter from my son Carter Johannimeier, who is a 2019 graduate of Charles City High School this evening. To the members of the Charles City Community School District School Board. My name is Carter Johannimeier, and I'm currently a senior at Warburg College, majoring in accounting and business administration. I am also currently the principal trumpet in the Warburg College Wind Ensemble, which is a top audition concert band at Warburg. During my time in the Charles City School District, I was heavily involved in concert, marching, and jazz band. Throughout my time in the Charles City Band program, I took away many invaluable skills that have shown to span across all disciplines in my post-secondary education. These skills have allowed me to grow as a musician, student, and most importantly, an individual. The biggest skills I've taken away from being involved in the Comet bands are time management and leadership skills. Being heavily involved in bands as well as athletics at Charles City caused my schedule to be hectic at all times. To help combat this, I had to refine my study and practice habits to make sure I stayed on top of everything, to see the levels of success that I strive for in the classroom and in music and athletics. These time management skills have proven crucial to my continued academic success in college. The Comet Band program also allowed me to have many leadership opportunities, which I would not have had without my involvement in the program. Having these opportunities allowed me to learn more useful skills that I've used in college and will certainly continue to use post-graduation. The communication skills that I learned through these opportunities have shown to be specifically useful. Through these opportunities, I learned effective communication skills, such as being able to communicate with many different individuals simultaneously, as well as being able to listen to ideas to strive for the highest level of success achievable by all participants in a group. I firmly believe that I must attribute a large portion of my academic and professional success to my involvement in the Comet bands. I learned indispensable skills that have and will continue to help me thrive beyond my college education. I am forever grateful for the opportunities and experiences the band program has provided me. Sincerely, Carter Johannimeier. As you can see by the support, this is me now. As you can see by the support here this evening, how passionate our community is about the arts, as well as the Project Rise program and the students of our district in general. I ask that because of the timing of these proposals being presented on Thursday and Friday of last week, that the board table these decisions until they have adequate time to study the options. And I implore you to make the decisions that are in the best interest of the students of the Charles City School District. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Heyer. My wife Jody and I, we've lived in the district for 24 years. We've had 3 children, 2 go through and they're off to college. And Hayden, our youngest, is a junior in high school. So they've been all of our kids have been active in athletics, FFA, orchestra, bands, all of them. Band as young as they could, and then Hayden will finish it out next year. So I'm just blown away why we're here. This is just, I still can't wrap my head around it. But some key things, this is not the first time we've had cuts in the music department. It's happened before. 2009 through 2012, we averaged 72 members in band. I'm just focusing on band because my kids were in band, all 3 of them. Then we had a reduction in 2013 from 3 directors, instructors, and that in the band department down to 2. So what followed then was from 2015 through 2019, those 5 years, that average dropped from 72 down to 51. So we had a 33% drop in instruction, followed by a 30% drop in band membership. So a little bit of a correlation there. Coming to 2020, obviously COVID created some complications. Interestingly enough, was the COVID, the rebound year, the comeback year was 58. So we had an increase, but athletics started, but band was unique. It was, you could have lessons, rehearsals over at North Grand, but no marching band, a little bit of pep band, no competitions. Middle school is even worse. You had lessons, no rehearsals, no performance, nothing. How exciting is that? So we wonder why kids fall off and drop away. The next year, last year was 31, so big drop. But now this year, a 30% increase. So now we're back up to 40, so we're on the rise again. So looking at that, I tell myself this every day, working at Edward Jones, is history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. So thinking this correlation, will it happen? I don't know, but if you start cutting staff, are we gonna see another drop in band membership? That support's not there. We don't have the Gene Martins anymore. We don't have Naomi, like rock and music. We don't have anybody local to do instruction. It is totally just our directors. I would encourage you to, in your evaluation, to table this to another day, take a harder look at it and see what options we can come up with. Thank you.
We're waiting.
Good evening. Yeah. Evening, Jody. Hi. My parents is Jeremy. And we do have 3 children that have gone through the school system and have been involved in band, and Jeremy, I won't reiterate all that. But my main focus today is I'm a PA at the clinic here. And a lot of my day, I would say sometimes a quarter of my day is dealt with mental health issues, with anxiety and depression. And from a personal perspective, a lot of anxiety, depression has to deal with isolation. We saw a lot of that with COVID. Isolation is a big problem in our elderly community, but also in our kids. The teachers are huge connections for our kids. I've had a lot of my own children have had some issues, and I credit the band program, the music program, Mr. Gassman, or where my kids are right now, because I don't know where our middle son would be without Mr. Gassman's support, allowing him to come into the band room to eat lunch instead of being in the general population for lunch. These teachers, all of these teachers are very, very important. They are critical for the success of all students and of utmost important for the at-risk students. These kids need these connections to all of these teachers. And I'm sure I have heard and listened to multiple students talking about the connections that they get with these teachers, the opportunities they get. And I'd be very, very saddened if we eliminate any teacher position, because they are all needed for the success of all of our students. Thank you.
Ross, you're after Mr. Berkeley.
Thank you very much. And Chris, I appreciate you offering your chair, but that's okay. I'm Bruce Berglund. I probably have the most seniority in this building of anybody in this room. I came to Charles City in 1970, and I was a biology teacher. And at that time, this building was not even here, this part of the building. So I spent about 2 years in the circles, because I was in the 600 circle. And we had a lot of kids. It was a 10 through 12 school. It wasn't 9th grade, 10 through 12. And we had so many kids. I think we peaked out about the year I came. And they even had some temporary buildings out behind. So when lunchtime came, Dean Butterfield, who's no longer with us, but he was a business teacher, his class would come right through my class to go to lunch and interrupt everything. And then they built this building. And I moved into the room directly on the other side. Renee Boss is in it now. And that's where I ended my career teaching. Then I went to the AEA. And I became an instructional technology consultant for 10 years. My wife, Janice, has been in the system since 1972. Prior to her coming, they did not do musicals in Charles City. They did what's called Jehovah, which was a junior high variety show, and Demuco, which was the senior high variety show. She raised a lot of waves when she proposed doing a junior high musical. I don't remember what was the first one, Oliver. And some of the other music teachers weren't thrilled with that. But she did it every other year, and then the high school started doing musicals. So you kids that are in school right now, that have been blessed with doing musicals, and thank them for starting the program. I got 30 seconds. Anyway, one other thing I want to say before I leave. I've heard some rumors that some of you are no longer supporting building an auditorium because of this fiasco. Please do not consider that. This auditorium and the renovation of the circle is for the kids. It's not for the school board. It's not for the superintendent, principal. It's for the kids. So please sign the petition so that we can put it before a vote and build an auditorium for the next group of kids that we come through here. Thank you.
Lynn Newton Bauer is on deck.
Hello, my name is Maggie Boss, and I'm a junior here at Charles City High School. Over my time in this school district, I have been involved in three music classes: general music, chorus, and band. As a general education student, I have the privilege to participate in these classes. However, my twin sister Maddie is a level 3 special education student, as she has a complicated seizure disorder and severe learning disabilities. If the proposed cuts are approved, she will no longer be able to participate in the adaptive special education music classes, as there will not be a teacher for it. This is the only way these students can be actively involved in music in our district once they reach 5th grade. It is not right to take this opportunity from these students. Music class is vital, as it teaches so many things to the students in Mrs. Brewer's class. Some skills they develop through this program are independence, expression, musical growth, emotional understanding, communication, and so many more. If you are comfortable taking this experience away from a minority group, our most vulnerable population, and you feel their emotional growth and self-esteem is not worth the investment, then shame on you all. I plead with you to consider how drastically this will impact our students and our community. Thank you.
Anthony Lucene is on deck, sorry.
My name is Lynn Newton Bauer, not to be confused with the other Lynn Bauer in town. I am an alumni of Charles City, mother of 2 Charles City students, and a Charles City business owner. I am coming before the board to express my concerns regarding proposed staffing cuts. As a business owner, I understand and have been through a financial crisis, several in the last 22 years of owning a business in Charles City. We've managed to resolve our financial issues without reducing our staff and without sacrificing the quality of the product we produce. The manner in which the current financial issues in the Charles City School District are being dealt with appears to be extremely rushed and opaque. The result will greatly reduce the quality of Charles City schools. resulting in even more students leaving the district. An issue as important as this should not be rushed. It should be presented to the public, debated with the public, revamped with input from the public, teachers and staff, presented again once a consensus has been reached. I ask the board to postpone any decision regarding staff adjustments until more options have been investigated and presented to the community. We understand the financial situation the district is in, but there are alternatives than those presented. Alternatives that will not affect the students and those working directly with them in such a negative way. I hope the board will accept and consider other options offered by members of the community. I myself have a few options to be offered if the board is at all interested in listening. Thank you for your time.
Douglas Johnson.
Did you hear up here? All right, my name's Troy Lacine. I'm a business owner here in town. I'm a parent of two. And also at this point, kind of concerned. I don't normally talk out here because this to me is just ridiculous. I'm going to ask for a couple things. First off is a little history lesson. On the north side of town, there's a large corporation that served and employed thousands of people. Do you know what the name was? Oliver. What we have today, a lot of it is responsible by them. Why did they go out of business? History will teach us that. Why? Because they had too much management and they had bad management. That was the issue. A lot of it was too much management. They're paying way too many people too much money. So that's one way. I don't want to be mean about it, but it's just the way it is. We need to look at our upper end and say, what do we actually need here? Secondly, I want to talk about maybe fairness and budget cuts. I grew up in Charles City's music program. I spent a lot of time there. I went through it with Schroet's three of your kids, actually. There's a lot more, but I went with three. I went band with kids that were athletic. I went band with kids that were not athletic. I went with girls. I went with boys. I went with everybody. Kids that had good days, kids that had bad days. And when I was young, I heard about cuts. When I was like in first, second grade, you hear things about parents talking about, oh, there's gonna be cuts in this, cuts in that. Well, music was one of them. When I was in high school, they were talking about it again. Now, here we are again. But what do I mean by fairness and cuts? I mean, a lot of people might hate me for what I'm about to say, but I'm a business owner and things just have to happen. Every time cuts come up, a lot of times it's fine arts. Yes, sports are talked about sometimes, but I want to talk about eye for an eye. If you're going to take one thing from fine arts, you need to take one thing from sports. I hate to say it. People on both sides are going to hate the crap out of me. That's fine, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Girls, boys participate in band, choir, orchestra, all that. They participate in drum too. Sports, girls and boys both. You got to choose something. And one thing I would say, just in favor of music myself, is that I still play to this day. My father's 62. He still plays to this day. There's other people too. There's still people that go to church. There's people at church that still sing to this day. How many people you see at the age of 70 out there playing basketball and tackling each other? It is a lifelong skill. Yes, sports can be too. A lot of guys and gals become coaches and they do a good job, but that actually a vast majority more can go on and keep playing, just like we do here in this town. So I'd encourage you not just to look at just the education end and the music and the fine arts. I also suggest you look at the sports end. What can we look at here? Also, look at the administrative, the top end. What do we have to look at here? Is there something that's bloated, that's out of control? What do we need to look at? So with that, I just want to say thank you for your time and look into some other ideas.
Good evening, board members. My name is Doug Johnson. I live at 301 Ferguson Street in Charles City. Just a little history. My wife and I moved here 10 years ago, but we delayed our move to Charles City by a year or more because we still had our youngest child was still in school, in high school, and he excelled at math skills as well as was very much involved in the performing arts. And as we researched the school district here. It was our opinion that the school district math performance scores would be indicative of the instruction that would not meet the level of need of our son, as well as the performing arts departments were very slim, had been gutted a few previous years. And so we elected to delay our move here because of those deficiencies that we saw in the school district and what they could provide. I know you're looking for reducing staffing costs. And I couldn't follow another person better than Tony. We didn't arrange this that I would follow him, but I have a recommendation that's similar to what he has as to how you could save on funding. Rather than reducing teaching positions that then lead to less performance on the part of students that lead to a lower attractiveness of the school district to attract new individuals coming in or to retain existing students from being enrolled elsewhere. I would suggest one of three different alternatives or more for reducing your expenses. I did a little quick and dirty study on the web here of the school district teachers that have sports coaching responsibilities. And 33 of the 93 junior and senior high teachers are coaches of one type or another, part-time, whatever. And I'm certain that a portion of their salary is considered as compensation for those coaching responsibilities that they would have. It looks pretty similar in the high school as well. 33% of the high school teachers have coaching responsibilities. So I know there's a lot of money involved in the budget to compensate those individuals and to retain them or attract them to come and teach on the staff here. So I would recommend reducing the salaries of some or all of the teacher positions with sports coaching responsibilities commensurate with the portion of their salaries that's allocated to compensate them for those coaching responsibilities. Secondly, I would recommend that you eliminate the new director of academic services position. That would save $100,000. You got along just fine without that prior to this. And I'd also recommend that the superintendent position be changed to a part-time or a shared position with another school district, as is similar to a number of other school districts of this size. That would save the school district $85,000 or more a year. Thank you for your time.
Okay, and you're in there.
Hello, I'm Chuck Stout from Charles City, 330-3898. Our budget concerns stem from our enrollment declining by 64 students. The state pays our district over $7,400 per student for a total deduction of $476,000. When you add the falsified document from the previous superintendent, we must account for a loss of another 18 students or $134,000. This brings the total loss of state revenue to $610,000. These are round numbers. All three proposals on tonight's agenda add up to an additional $100,000 to $150,000 in cuts. Why the extra budget cuts? We should only be short $600,000, not the $750,000 administration is asking for. If the additional funds are for the 12+ students that have opened and enrolled in the last 6 weeks, just tell us that. We want the truth. The August 6, 2022 Charles City Press article titled CCCSD receives a clean report states that the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 shows a general fund balance increase of $900,000. That's great. $900,000 more money in the general fund than how we ended in fiscal year 2020. Where did all these excess funds in this account go? Was it spent to sweep more false reporting under the rug? The public was never made aware of the truth of why our previous leader went on administrative leave for the last 1.5 months of employment while still on the district payroll. We also have 4 dedicated staff members and I'm ballparking this, I'm guessing with over 130 years of service that are retiring this year. Nowhere in these three proposals has the administration accounted for the savings to the district when we replace these 4 retirees with educators with less experience. This savings or these savings will quite easily add up to over $100,000 alone. If a business of retail, manufacturing, or whole good sales eliminates a staff that produce the revenue for the company, that company would fail. When a business is forced to make budget cuts, it always includes management reductions. This should be no different in education. Our teachers are our salespeople. Our teachers are the assemblers and manufacturers. Why would you reduce the staff that creates the final product of the educational system? The AEA provides curriculum assistance to our school district. We also have teachers that should be able to make the appropriate decisions as to the curriculum they teach. If teachers can't do this, we certainly should not hire a manager to do it for them. The Board of Education that the taxpayers elected have a difficult decision to make. Do they cut educational opportunities for our students? Or do they make the management of the district operate in a more cost-effective manner? I urge you not to make this decision in 86 hours. You're all smarter than that. Thank you.
I am the mother of Anders Haglund and Cody Haglund. You're welcome. Raise of hands. How many of you went to the concert last week for the high school band and choir? Raise of hands. How many of you, raise of hands, went to the run out at Citizens Bank for the taxpayers of Charles City? Raise of hands. How many of you went to the concert Friday night for the taxpayers of Charles City? Raise of hands. Friday night. They were every night. Wasn't there a concert Friday night?
There was.
You went to the senior center at 1 o'clock when my son played for the seniors, taxpayers of Charles City. Raise your hands. How many of you went to the extravaganza Saturday night? Yeah. For the taxpayers of Charles City. What I will tell you, my children bring money into this economy. You're welcome. That being said, I called my father today, who is not only a professor of economics, he also has a degree in economics. He taught economics in Illinois for over 20 years. I told him I was going to this meeting tonight. His first comment was, they're cutting music, aren't they? First comment. Did not mention to him anything about the meeting. He said they always cut music first. Always. I had a conversation with Derek. He said, we're ready to fight because music always has to be ready to fight. We are ready to fight. I'm just fighting for music. I'm fighting for the kids who are at risk, who are in music. They deserve a chance as much as my children do. I love our children. Love them. And the fact that I love them so much puts me right here. I know I'm at risk too. I'm a social worker in this district. I recognize I'm at risk. But my love for my children, not only my own children, but the children of this district, puts me here in this moment. So I don't care, make decisions. I get it. I understand. You have to make decisions. I respect the decisions you have to make. But love our children and make the decisions that are at best for our children. That's all I have to say.
Was that Kristen Schmidt? And then Lady Jewel. And then Hunter.
Hi, yes, hello, my name is Tristan Schmidt. I am a 2015 alum of Charles City High School. I'm also a first generation college graduate. First in my family to go to college and get a bachelor's degree. I will also be the first in my family to get a master's degree in public administration, particularly in school education policy and public finance. Now, you probably imagine where that's going to go. I don't want to match it, and I know you all have jobs to do, and I know some of you. What I will say is this. I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for music. I remember the number of times that I was relentlessly bullied in the school district, and no one did a thing about it, except my music teachers, except the people I was in music class with. I want that for everyone here, to have that person they can go to, especially our music teachers, our English teachers, even the staff that support Project Rise. I wasn't even here for this when it started, and I'm all about it. I love it. So why is it happening? And yes, I get you have school district needs that need to be made. You have to make adjustments. You have to make cuts. That's all I've been learning for the last 2.5 years in my program. But there are ways you can mitigate things. You can change things. You can change processes. You can do cost sharing. It's been mentioned multiple times. Cost sharing is an option. I want you to think about that, particularly as you think about students who may have been like me. Students who, if they didn't get to go to orchestra that day, they were going to just shut down. Yeah, I may have been able to go to class. I may have done well, but you know, the only thing that got me through at the end of the day was music. The fact that Nancy Western was there, that Eugene Martin was there. And if he heard this, you all know, I'm sure you already know this man. You know he would be up in here, up in arms. Please remember at the end of the day that you're going to be saving lives, or it'll harm them. It'll harm the kids that were like me, who had nowhere else to go except the music league. It'll harm programs and take away teachers that are life changers, especially who here has had Mrs. McKay before? Mrs. McKay.